Mercury enters Pisces, the sign where imagination overpowers the facts, on Friday, February 14th, right in time for Valentine's Day. We are poetic, soulful, and inspired. However, Mercury is in the sign of detriment and fall in Pisces, which can breed deception, confusion, and vulnerability. Let's talk about this transit more and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. I work in with tropical zodiac and whole sign house system. If you enjoy my work, please leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, and press that notification bell. Watch more of my videos to help bring more attention, more subscribers to my channel. I appreciate that. You can also say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a gift, a token of appreciation. Thank you so much for that. And before we dive in, for personal questions, for readings, and to work with me, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your year ahead or solar return reading. The second is better done before your birthday. You can also get a natal chart reading, talk to me about your soul's purpose, your strengths, weaknesses, a relationship consultation. We can also pick a date for your wedding or figure out which locations in the world are most suited for you. All of that is at anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can also find my 2025 astrology planner filled with insights, information about astrological signs, houses, retrograde dates, journaling prompts, intention setting pages, spaces to write your to-do list, and so much more. This is a very helpful tool for the year we're in right now and can make your year that much better. Additionally, since we are talking Mercury in the sign of its detriment and fall, I would like to recommend my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle, the second edition of the Mercury in Virgo candle. It captures Mercury in the analytical, detail-oriented, concise, and precise sign of Virgo. Perfect for the next couple of weeks. Mercury stays in Pisces from February 14th until March 3rd. Perfect for the upcoming Mercury retrograde in March as well. And for anyone born with their Mercury in Pisces or Sagittarius, which are the signs Mercury struggles in, if your natal Mercury is retrograde, if it squares, conjoins, or opposes Saturn, and if it's placed in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, which are considered dark houses, highly recommend this candle for any writer, any blogger, any content creator. It can help streamline your thoughts, help you express yourself. It smells also like fresh cut grass, so it has a refreshing energy to you. And it's very clean and pure, like you would expect something with Virgo as the main sign. So let's talk about Mercury in Pisces. I haven't really done a ton of videos on Mercury because Mercury transits tend to be faster. Like I said, this one lasts from February 14th until March 3rd. However, Mercury will return to Pisces while retrograde on March 29th and then stay here for 2 more weeks until April 16th. So Mercury is about to go retrograde. And Mercury in Pisces is far from home. Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury is this very kind of factual planet. You can think of him as the messenger. He gathers the data, he spreads it around. Sometimes he narrows it down in Virgo and makes sense of it. But his job is to operate in the realm of facts, right? So he loves being in Virgo. Virgo does the research, it expresses itself, herself, himself in a concise, precise, clear way, right? Very much checks the facts, get everything as accurate, clear writing, no mistakes. Of course, a lot depends on your personal chart and what else is going on there. Maybe you're a Virgo who makes mistakes, but you're probably very precise or focused on like finding the truth anyways. So Mercury loves Virgo. In fact, it loves it so much that it's considered to be both in rulership and exalted in Virgo. Mercury is the only planet that gets a double strength in a specific sign, but because Pisces is opposite Virgo, it also means Mercury gets the double weakness in Pisces. And so what does that mean, right? If you think of Mercury as the planet of the mind and logic, And if you think of Pisces as the sign of dreams, imagination, sleeping, spirituality, right? Daydreaming. Pisces is the sign that is often, and of course, once again, a lot depends on your chart. You might be Pisces with some earthy placements that really ground you, but a lot of times Pisces is sort of untethered. It's like floating away a little bit. They're like the dreamers of the zodiac. They're the soulful, spiritual gurus of the zodiac. And so when in the sign where the dreams are very strong and an imagination is very strong, and Pisces is also the sign of exaltation of Venus, so love is very strong in Pisces, the mind is less strong, right? If you are dreaming, you can't start focusing on all the things that are wrong, because then you're not able to dream as much. So it's like people on the positive, when you have Mercury in Pisces, you become someone who like talks with sensitivity, with idealism, with like poetic qualities. There's so many songwriters with Mercury in Pisces, so many writers in general. So many, there are podcasters out there. Mercury in Pisces will allow you to communicate with sort of this kind of like soulful, spiritual compassion. And also a lot of times it creates it like you're able to express yourself in like, you may say a lot of things, right? Which is quite good for writers, and like it's quite good for songwriters as well, because you have this ability to say kind of a lot. Of course, the downside of this is sometimes the person might speak too much or say too many things, or put themselves in a position of vulnerability by exposing the sort of more side of themselves that they need to protect. So that's for all of us. When Mercury is in Pisces, we need to be a little bit aware of that, right? That there might be, once again, when dreams are strong, the facts may be less strong. So we may get deceived, or we may get disillusioned, or we may get too pulled into our world of fantasy, where we don't notice the facts and we like deceive ourselves almost. So especially, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's retrograde between March 15th and April 7th. But between March 29th and April 7th, it's retrograde in Pisces. This is like a double whammy, because not only Mercury is retrograde and there's a confusion connected to that, but it's also Mercury in the sign of its detriment. So kind of miscommunicating, taking the wrong train, promising something and then falling asleep, forgetting to text back when something important is awaited of you. Like Mercury can get lost in the Jupiterian world, for sure. However, I like this for writing poetry. I like this for writing songs, for writing of all kind. I like this for learning about spirituality. You may notice more signs. Your dreams might carry stronger messages. You may notice that your intuition is stronger and you almost have like a sense of premonition about some things. However, once again, because there is like Mercury's in detriment, you may have premonition, but you may struggle with like verbalizing it, and people might not believe you. And sometimes you need to be clear where it is premonition versus where it is wishful thinking. So overall, I do think intuition is quite strong in Mercury in Pisces, but there might be a bit of like a diminished rational state, right? I heard Autumn Allenbus talk about it as like when you are very creative and you are very open and you are in the state of flow, let's say you're a poet or you're a writer, your judgment might be weaker and it might be easier for you to like overeat or to start using like drugs or some kind of substances. So sometimes people with Mercury in Pisces may, sometimes struggle with like keeping to routines, keeping to schedules, keeping to healthy choices. So you got to watch out for that. Watch out for poor boundaries in communication. Be careful for like being manipulated, because once again, it's a very like sensitive, soulful, generous sign, so other people might take advantage of you. but enjoy the more spiritual, the more creative, the more poetic energy of this transit. It's beautiful for expressing yourself through art, making art, writing. And please share if this is your placement. How has Mercury in Pisces affected your life? Do you feel like you are very creative? Do you feel like you sometimes struggle with separating the facts from fiction, perhaps with this placement? I'd love to know. And before we talk about Mercury for all 12 signs, I'd like to remind you that if you're looking for more from me, you want to work with me, you can book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com and talk to me about your natal chart, your strengths, weaknesses. I can tell you your soul's purpose, help you understand your romantic problems or gifts, and help you understand in general your strengths and weaknesses, as well as year ahead reading is good for looking at the year ahead. Relationship compatibility is also good for helping improve your relationship. So let's talk about Mercury through all 12 zodiac signs, and we'll touch on the gifts of this transit as well as potential downsides. For Aries risings, Mercury is entering your 12th house. I love this for creativity. I really like this for going in the nature, painting, writing, connecting with spirituality, working with energy, doing Reiki healing, getting massages, anything like that. Even talking to your therapist, right? Expressing yourself, like doing yoga, anything that's sort of soulful, spiritual is great. However, Mercury is in its detriment here, and it's about to go retrograde in a little bit. And so you gotta watch out for deceiving yourself. 12th house is the house of blind spots. And so there might be certain tendencies where you say things or you think like, oh, I'm doing this to help my friend. But then in reality, maybe all you're doing is like stirring drama, or you are, or you're actually not helping your friend. You're maybe enabling their bad habit by lending them money because you're trying to help them, but in reality, maybe they are drinking too much and they need someone to tell them no. So watch out for this like self-deception and maybe like try to make sure that you're more clear and you're not getting manipulated or manipulating yourself. For more guidance, visit Anastasia.astrology.com and book your reading on there, or pick up my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle. This is really good for clarity. For Taurus rising, Mercury is entering your 11th house. I love this for working with other people, finding writing partners, teaching yoga classes with other people, having partnerships on your social media account, networking, volunteering, being sort of generous and altruistic and helping people that need it. The challenge with Mercury being in the sign of its detriment and fall in your 11th house is that you may be running into people like that. There may be some kind of challenges with your friendships where your friends are asking you for too much. Don't sacrifice yourself. Friends might be going through a bit of a difficult patch with this too. You need to be careful of getting ahead of yourself, where like you dream about something and you get so excited with Mercury in the 11th house and you put a bunch of money into buying an equipment only to realize that you need a different kind of equipment, or only to realize that your friend already has the equipment and now you need to sell it. So try to stay grounded, because sometimes Mercury in Pisces can be a bit like dreaming too much. For more guidance, visit Anastasia.astrology.com and book your year ahead, your natal chart, or predictive reading on there. For Gemini rising, Mercury is entering your 10th house, which suggests that you're likely to get more inspired. You may notice that your job offers opportunities for creative writing, or you just in general feel more driven to share your thoughts. Maybe you're writing poetry and sharing it on social media. Maybe you're talking a lot more about career and getting opportunities to speak in front of others. However, watch out for the more dangerous side, the more detrimental side of Mercury in Pisces in the 10th house, and that is deception. That could come from bosses, or maybe you deceiving yourself and getting excited about something that is too good to be true. So watch out for sort of self-sacrifice and maybe committing to things that you don't have time for. Watch out for bosses maybe being confusing and miscommunicating with you. You can benefit for sure, I think, with this placement from connecting with different people, and you're more likely to feel adaptable and fluid, and definitely use this energy to express yourself creatively, but watch out for the more like make sure that you're not forgetting the little details and facts, and that you're fact checking everything and not like getting too ahead of yourself. If you're looking for more, you have questions about your chart, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and ask me any questions your heart desires. For Cancer rising, Mercury is entering your 9th house. And this could be very inspired. I've said it in the introduction part of this video, I love this transit for writing. And 9th house is the house of publishing, and so you may feel extra like driven to tell your story. You may communicate with like compassion. There may be teachers or mentors or lawyers that are helpful for you. You may be driven to travel or learn about something. It's also a pretty lovely transit for learning about spirituality, religion, astrology. You may be almost like you may perceive more. Your mind is more porous, more absorbent. However, Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces, so you have to be careful when submitting paperwork because you may forget some little thing that turns out to be quite important. So double check everything, read through it a couple of times, ask someone else to read through it. There is a tendency for self-deception here sometimes, where you are daydreaming and, focusing more on dreams than realities. You may also deal with classmates or teachers that are somehow confusing or unclear. They give you like a project, but they don't really specify exactly what you have to do. So lean more into like inspiration and make sure that you're triple checking everything that involves legal matters, that involves travel, that involves lawyers, visas, submitting documents and things like that. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, talk about your year coming up or your relationship. For Leo rising, Mercury is entering your 8th house, and you may feel driven to connect with other people. Mercury in the 8th is really good for writing collaboration. Even putting your head together with someone else to brainstorm ideas, to come up with a synthesis of your talents and their talents. It could be the time you're more driven to talk about death and fears, and maybe you can experience breakthroughs in therapy. You may feel more open, almost sort of like open to getting messages from the other world. Like you may be seeing energy or feeling sort of more invisible realms, I guess. However, Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces, which suggests that sometimes dreams and visions are stronger than facts and reality. So you want to make sure that you're balancing those. You want to make sure that you're balancing those two. And especially when it comes to money, because 8th house represents like shared finances and debts and loans. And so be careful kind of signing contracts and maybe giving too much money to people that need it, but maybe they're deceiving you. Double check all the facts, like read through things a couple of times, read between the lines. And perhaps, definitely pay close attention to who and what you're giving your time, money, and energy to, because sometimes there might be some kind of confusion when it comes to those matters. If you're looking for more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to analyze your natal chart, talk about your year coming up or your relationship. For Virgo rising, Mercury is entering your 7th house. And Mercury in the 7th house is a sign of more active romantic life. You're maybe dating someone mercurial, meeting someone mercurial for a date, or meeting them for a partnership. Maybe you're starting a writing partnership, or you're thinking about working with somebody who's very mercurial. They can be literally Gemini or a Virgo, or maybe a writer, a scientist, a messenger, a salesperson, getting kind of more involved in negotiations, sales, counseling. All of that is quite likely. Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces. So you want to make sure that you are staying kind of grounded and rational. And this is your chart ruler, right? This is Mercury, the planet that rules you, going into the sign of its detriment. So you are very relationship focused here. And this could be great for a writing partnership, a writing collaboration, a creative project together. But it's still Mercury in detriment. So there might be a tendency to idealize people, to not see their flaws, to only see the potential, to kind of take yourself too far and imagine the future with a person that barely just said hi to you. And that's okay. We've all done it. I've done it for sure. But you want to make sure you're not deceiving yourself, and you want to make sure that you're also not sort of sliding into manipulating the person that you're with, because sometimes there might also be a danger of that. Highly recommend my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle, because this is Mercury in your sign. It is clear, it's factual, it's analytical and precise. So while Mercury is in its detriment, and when it's about to go retrograde in March, this could be very helpful for you guys. And please share how this resonates in the comments below. For Libra rising, Mercury is entering your 6th house. And so Mercury in the 6th could be inspired, right? It could inspire you to learn about maybe a spiritual side of your work. Maybe it will inspire you to communicate with people in a very compassionate and soulful and supportive way. And so that can benefit for sure. It can inspire you to innovate the way you do work, maybe declutter, maybe go to a paint night, or do something fun to exercise, go dancing instead of doing a run as you normally do. However, Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces, and it's going to go retrograde shortly in March. And so you need to be careful that you are not, watch out for sort of deception, watch out for self-deception, watch out for confusing interactions with colleagues. Maybe there might be the power of discrimination maybe kind of lowered. And so sometimes this shows up as you go to a doctor and they do your x-rays and then they lose the x-rays. So it might not even be you, it might be people you work with that are creating issues in your work. Sometimes there could be health concerns coming up with this transit that are of more spiritual issue. You feel sort of your voice breaks, or you get a sore throat, and maybe it's because you haven't said something. So it can also be helpful for bringing attention to these more psychosomatic type issues. But you do want to make sure that you are kind of grounded and you're not too self-sacrificial, and watch out of making kind of major decisions. Or if you are, ask people to look through things you're signing or decisions you're making, help you bring an extra perspective there. If you're looking for more, visit Anastasia.astrology.com and book a personal reading with me. We can talk about your natal chart, year coming up, your relationship, or more. For Scorpio rising, Mercury is entering your 5th house. And this is beautiful for dating. You're maybe experiencing more spiritual, soulful conversations when you're going on a date or in your existing relationship. You may feel more creative. Mercury in the 5th house in Pisces. This is really perfect for any writer, any artist, any singer. There is more of a pool to express yourself through creativity. You're enjoying more time with children, I think. You're maybe more driven to spend time with children. However, Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces, and so you have to watch out for kind of like self-deception and maybe being like evasive or escapist when it comes to love, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to children. Watch out for like lying to yourself when it, maybe like you meet someone and you idealize them and you kind of deceive yourself. Maybe you have a creative project that you're very inspired about, but you forget to submit it before the deadline. So you want to balance this inspiration with sort of clear mind, and it may be a bit hard with Mercury in Pisces, but allow yourself to chill, right? Allow yourself to relax if you can afford it, and make sure to bring some rationality into the mix if you cannot. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to help you analyze your natal chart, talk about your year coming up, or your relationship. For Sagittarius rising, Mercury is entering your 4th house. And so a lot of your communication goes towards talking with family. You're maybe sending more messages. You're maybe interacting, going to visit family members. It can bring a bit more of a spiritual, soulful connection with family. Maybe you're talking about astrology or art or beauty with them. You're maybe healing childhood wounds or addressing any sort of past issues. You're feeling nostalgic. You're reminiscing about the past and kind of enjoying connecting with people from the past. However, because Mercury is in its detriment, there may be some confusion. There may be, your memory may play tricks on you. Maybe you remember things a different way from the way your parent does, and maybe you're right and they're wrong. So the detriment might show up in terms of a parent misremembering things, maybe remembering it in a more pleasant light for themselves. So be careful of that. Be careful when it comes to some kind of like real estate negotiations, lease signing, contracts. If you're like trying to sell your property or you're trying to hire someone, Mercury in Pisces can forget certain facts and focus more on like the vision. So maybe you find a contractor, right? Someone who does construction on your house, and you like what they did in someone else's house, but you forget, you like skip over the fact that they charge 3 times more than other contractors. So try not to get too carried away by the visions and try to stay a bit more grounded with this transit. And it's also, Mercury also rules your house of relationships. And so it means the ruler of your house of partnerships is going into the sign of its detriment. So it might be symbolic of them experiencing maybe some kind of more of a complicated time in their life, or maybe them being a little bit deceiving or deceived. For more guidance, visit Anastasia Does Astrology and book your reading on there, and pick up your Mercury in Virgo 2 candle to help you deal with this transit and later deal with the retrograde that's coming up in March. For Capricorn rising, Mercury is entering your 3rd house. So I love this for any creative person. You are soulful, you are spiritual, you are inspired. You're good at helping people get along. You are maybe working as a diplomat, as a facilitator, helping people get closer. You're feeling more inspired. 3rd house is the house of business, skills, and hobbies. So writing, creating, going out, spending time with siblings, spending time with neighbors, all of that is great here, as well as blogging and speaking and sort of filming yourself. However, Mercury is in its detriment and fall in Pisces, so the danger might be some kind of confusion, deception, tendency to over-idealize things, or to be kind of self-sacrificial, potentially. So watch out that you're not sacrificing your goals because your sibling is asking you for something, or watch out that you're not forgetting facts and going off of a big vision. Like, especially if you are a creative person. My shoulder is okay, I think, but like, it is cold. It is cold, but I'm almost there. So yeah, like watch out for over idealizing. Be careful when it comes to like submitting paperwork or going on trips and like forgetting to fill your car up with gas or forgetting to check an important box. So like double check everything, unite the creative vision with a factual, rational thinking, and you should be okay. Please share what you think. Are you excited? Are you scared? Are you ready? And for more guidance, visit Anastasia.astrology.com. We can talk about your natal chart, your year coming up, or your relationship. For Aquarius rising, Mercury is entering your second house. So this may suggest that you are starting to make money through sales or through writing or through intellectual pursuits. Maybe you're beginning to teach classes or you're filming lectures and putting lectures online. There may be just more communication and also more opportunities to make investments and maybe like rethink your financial strategy. Mercury in the second can feel like very inspired to, like your priorities might go and your inspiration might go towards mercurial things, which is like travel and creativity and spirituality. So you may be spending money on those things as well. Watch out for confusion. Watch out for spending money a little bit recklessly, maybe just sort of feeling like this will help me become famous on social media, so I'm going to buy $1,000 worth of equipment or something. Because Mercury is in its detriment and it's fall in the sign of Pisces, there might be a little bit more of like poor boundaries, right? Sort of lack of rational thinking, where you're just like, you feel like it and then you spend the money. Be grounded as much as you can. And the same goes for professional matters. The same goes for relationships. Watch out that you have like strong, rational thinking that goes along with the dreamy thinking connected with Mercury and Pisces. For more insight, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com. We can analyze your natal chart, pick a date for your wedding or your business, talk about your relationship, your year coming up, and even look into your relocation astrology, which is great for figuring out the best place for you to move. Finally, if you are a Pisces rising, Mercury is entering your first house. So you feel more chatty. Get ready to talk about yourself, about your feelings, about your thoughts. Watch out for talking too much. There's nothing wrong with talking too much, but sometimes, sometimes it can maybe complicate things if you're like dealing with a person, with an inspector who is there to just like check things, and then they give you a poor rating because you tried to charm them, but that didn't end well. So have a good balance, right? This could encourage you to, I think I like this for better self-understanding, because like through talking sometimes comes out the truth. So maybe you need to talk too much. Just make sure you're doing it with people that are there and happy to listen and love you, right? Because sometimes Mercury and Pisces can be like really vulnerable, and you can share your energy with people that are not receptive or that are not kind of good for you. And that's where, that's where some of the shadow of Mercury and Pisces comes in. It's for sure poor boundaries. It could also be self-deception, where you like someone and you keep telling yourself that the fact that they look at you means that they like you, even though they maybe told you that they don't, or they told you that they have a partner already, but you sort of keep in your head building castles out of like foggy things. So watch out for self-deception, watch out for poor boundaries. Make sure that you're fact-checking things and not forgetting important kind of details for the sake of the perfect picture. But use this transit for creativity, for self-understanding, for writing, for therapy, and also like talking in front of people. This could be a pretty good public speaking type of transit. If you're looking for more, visit Anastasia.astrology.com and book your reading on there. And thank you for joining me for this run through Mercury in Pisces and Mercury in Pisces for all 12 signs. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet.